So, how would you feel if one morning you woke up, you walked over to your desk, and you seen a post-it note written in handwriting that wasn't yours? And not only that, but you live alone. Now, this would freak most people out, and the person that wrote this story on Reddit also got pretty freaked out. So much so that they were looking for some sort of legal advice because they thought that their landlord was doing some pretty creepy stuff behind their back. Now, obviously, whenever she seen this post-it note, she was a little creeped out by it because the handwriting was off from hers. It didn't look like hers, but she thought maybe she just wrote it in the middle of the night whenever she was half asleep, and so she ended up just crumbling and throwing it away and just kind of forgetting about it. Now, this wouldn't be that big of a deal, and it's one of those things that is quite forgettable. However, the problem is 4 days later, she found another post-it note on the back of her desk chair, and this one said in the same handwriting, "Save the documents." Now, obviously, this started freaking her out pretty bad, so she went around checking the apartment to see if there was any way somebody broke in, and there was no signs. The windows was locked, the doors was locked, everything was locked up. There was no signs of entry. So what she ended up doing was getting a security camera and aiming it at her desk. Now, you would think that the problem would be solved from this because there was some sort of security footage. However, it was not. 9 days later, she found another post-it note. This one saying, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you. However, it is important that we do." So she immediately remembers her camera. She goes and gets on her computer and looks into the folder where all the video footage is stored. But the problem is, everything from that night had been deleted. She looked at her recycling bin to see if it was recoverable, and her recycling bin was emptied. And she knew that she did not do this. So now she had somebody that was coming into her apartment and messing with her computer while leaving her notes. And this really put her on edge. Now, she just decides to tough it out, which makes her a lot braver than me because there is no way I would have done this. But just a few days later, she wakes up, she looks at her door, and there is a blank post-it note on her door. Not only that, but there is blank post-it notes on other doors as well. Now, this is whenever she starts getting online and looking for like some sort of legal recourse because she doesn't know what to do. And the only person she knows to blame is her landlord, as that's the only one with the key. So she gets online, she posts what's going on, and multiple people started leaving comments saying, "Hey, this may be some sort of disorder that you want to look into. Not only that, do you have a carbon monoxide detector?" Which OP replied, "Yeah, I got one, but I've never set it up. I guess I'll have to set it up. There's no reason not to try." And whenever she got it out of the box, installed the batteries, put it on the floor, it read 100 parts per million. Now, this is whenever you start getting carbon monoxide poisoning, and this starts causing brain swelling, which makes you act and do things that you will not remember. And that's what was happening. She was literally getting up in the middle of the night, writing notes to herself, freaking herself out, deleting her own files, and she had no clue that she was doing this. Now, I found this story very interesting on a couple different levels. One, a lot of people don't know that carbon monoxide poisoning is even a thing. Not only that, but one of the most interesting aspects of this is whenever people post things online saying that they're feeling some sort of weird thing or seeing some sort of weird things, one of the first comments that always pops up is, "Hey, do you have a carbon monoxide detector?" And most of that originates from this one story, which I find absolutely fascinating. Anyways, I always thought that was an interesting, creepy story, and I wanted to share it with you. The original poster is R. Bradbury 1920, which I find absolutely awesome because I love Ray Bradbury. So, anyways, I thought it was interesting, and I thought you all would find it interesting. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye. Also, be sure to check your carbon monoxide detectors. Okay, bye.